the idea of audience, task, purpose, as teachers, you are taking kids along the ride of theater making, but you're also responsible to teach them something, right? And to find out how much they've learned. Okay? And it can't be just a multiple choice test, I'm hoping. Yeah? Right? Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. They comprehend as well as critique. Can someone read that one for me? Go ahead. Read it for us. What's your name?
Oh, sorry, Dan.
Dan, you can read that one out loud for us?
Yeah.
They comprehend as well as critique?
Students are engaged and open-minded, but discerning readers and listeners. They work diligently to understand precisely what an author or speaker is saying, but they also question an author's or speaker's assumptions and premises and assess the veracity in claims and soundness of reasoning.
So what jumps out at you guys there? That paragraph, something that jumps out at you that is kind of, that you think might be kind of cool. Let's go with it. Yeah. Engaged and open-minded. Great. What else? Anything else?
What jumped out at me was question an author or speaker's assumptions and premises. But you said that this was for, sorry to put this into a question.
Yeah.
You said that this was like a national thing. So what happens in like schools where that's not necessarily allowed? I don't know, I'm just thinking back on my own high school experience. I had some teachers that, no, like, do not question me, this is what it is. That just popped out of me. Sorry to...
No, that's great. So, again, these are values, right? These are not standards. You can't really judge a kid by this. This is a value that we're looking at. We're looking at ideas here. Big ideas, and they're kind of aspirational, right? You're like, wow, I wish that every student could do this. But you're hopefully getting along the path with your kids.
Okay.
So, in terms of what you just said, you said questioning the teacher. Now, granted, hopefully you guys are teachers, and you feel very comfortable with a student kind of questioning you. Maybe not like antagonistically, critically, but maybe critiquing you and asking why you're doing something, right?
Right.
Some teachers are not comfortable with that, and that's an individual dynamic. But this is more talking about an author that they're reading or play that you're seeing, right? You guys have seen theater and done theater, and you're thinking about why. The question I would raise is, I would say that do we ever really know the author's intent? I don't think you can, but it's what you're perceiving, okay? So, and I think what's kind of cool about what you guys want to do, it's hard. You're choosing a harder career, I think, than some of the other ones that are disciplines that are very specific answers, right? Science and math actually are more abstract than English and social studies, but generally speaking, there's an answer at the end. You work through a whole problem, it's all about the process, but there is an answer. In theater, are there right and wrong answers generally? No, what are there? You're right, you went like this. If there's not right or wrong answers, what are there? There's what? Options.
Answer, your answer.
Your answer. Multiple answers, right? You can have multiple right answers. If I give you all a text and you do some text analysis and you decide to do a monologue on it, you're all going to come up with a different monologue. However, what would I be looking for? I would be looking for you're making strong choices and that you could justify them, right? That's the point. So then you go into they value evidence. That's the justification. When you guys work with young people and you say to them to do an A-B scene, right? Or to take a monologue, or if you're doing storytelling and you're setting dramatic movement, or you're doing process drama about Ellis Island, or whatever it is, right? You're asking them to make choices. And hopefully you're saying, why did you make that choice? And they might tell you. And you might ask them to get even more specific, right? Or they might make a choice that is kind of off context, and they don't really justify it, so you encourage them to try another way in. The idea being that in theater there's usually multiple right answers. Just some are better choices than others for that actor, or that director, or that designer, right? We could all stage All's Well That Ends Well in 500 centuries of context, and each one could be as valid as the other. The point being, are you justifying your choices? So same thing as a teacher. You can't have someone come in and say, you are a good teacher, you are not a good teacher. I want to point at you like, Colin, you are not a good teacher, okay? Because I don't want, you're just not very animated right now. But whatever it is, that's my criteria. You're not animated. So I could judge the poll. But I couldn't judge you as a good or bad teacher because I need to have criteria, and you should know what the criteria is too. Okay? So looking at evidence is, are they valuing evidence? Are they reading? Or are they seeing with intent to understand? Technology, you guys, I don't know, does everybody here Twitter and Facebook and tweet and text and everything? Some do, some don't? Not you? Okay. How many of you have your own website? Okay, a couple do. Students now, right, like kind of 10 to 18, a lot of them do. And a lot of blogging and everything else that's going on. And technology is a way in for them. It's a way to meet them where they're at. Okay? But it's also going to be good for like peer assessment, review assessment. So there's a lot of things that technology can be used for. And the last one is, this one I think is very powerful. I can get maybe one person to read this last one for us. Who would like to read this last one for us out loud? Yeah, go ahead. Nice big voice.
Okay. They come to understand other perspectives and cultures. Students appreciate that the 21st century classroom and workplace are settings in which people from often widely divergent cultures and who represent diverse experiences and perspectives must learn and work together. Students actively seek to understand other perspectives and cultures through reading and listening, and they are able to communicate effectively with people of varied backgrounds. They evaluate other points of view critically and constructively. Through reading, great classic and contemporary works of literature representative of a variety of periods, cultures, and worldviews, students can vicariously inhabit worlds and have experiences much different from their own.
What do you think about that one? When you guys are here. Does that work for you? Make sense? Does it excite you? Does it bore you? What do you think? Yeah.
I just wonder about the phrasing of students actively seek to understand other perspectives and cultures through reading and listening, because reading about a culture and listening about a culture is not the same thing as meeting someone from France or saying, I've traveled to Poland, or sharing cultural experiences. And so I just underline that because I have questions about that particular one. Then I wonder if it doesn't apply to maybe New York City, where everyone's from everywhere. If you look around the room, probably tons of us are not from New York City. But I just had a thought about that one.
Yeah, I think again, I think that this is not the most eloquent document ever written. I think some of the ideas. I would probably say that the people who put this together would say that listening is what you're talking about, because I get to listen to you, or I have a guest speaker come in. So it is classroom-based, not necessarily going to Poland, because a lot of kids won't be able to travel. No, I'm just saying, might not be able to travel beyond, I don't know if you realize this, but most kids, even in Manhattan, but have never been to theater in New York City, very rarely been to theater, and a lot of kids in like Queens and Brooklyn have never been to Manhattan. There are kids in South Bronx who have never been downtown. They don't go below 96th Street. Now, part of that is safety, right? The parents say, you know what? But it's also, they've got their own world going on out there, and it's almost, it is another city. So what is happening? How am I learning about other worlds? So yes, listening and hearing from you, absolutely what you say is true, but I would probably say that might go into listening. But I agree that it should be that and. I wouldn't say this is limited.
Yeah. I didn't also mean just like traveling, because it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
It can't be. But even like talking to your neighbor who is from a different culture.
Yeah.
Like having a conversation or doing an activity.
Yes.
As opposed to just listening.
Yes.
I
This
don't
is.
want to think of any more.
No. This is a flat document. This is not a theater teacher's document. It's about reading and writing. They're trying to get in listening and speaking. So if we take your idea, listening and speaking, that's where it could be. I don't know. But it's a good point. Yeah.
What jumped out at me here was the actively seeking part. Even though this isn't an endpoint in terms of an entry, becoming a global citizen and kind of thinking more expansively about all these different things, I guess this emphasis on questioning things is really important. It's kind of threaded throughout this document, just encouraging students to get to a point where, or creating your lessons or whatever your classroom environment is, so students get to a point where they're, kind of self-actualized people that are going on to YouTube and looking for, things about people from.
Yeah, I think that's. Go back up to the. I don't want to lose this one, but go back up. We're going to keep going, but look at the independence. The very first line. The very first sentence Students can, without significant scaffolding, comprehend and evaluate. Don't worry about text, right? Comprehend and evaluate, right? I assimilate knowledge, right? I have an experience, I sponge it, I assimilate it, I process it, I apply it in some way, right? And then hopefully I'll reflect on it. So what's your name?
Kelly?
Kelly. And what's your name, sir?
Maria?
Maria. Okay, thank you, Kelly Maria. So what Kelly's talking about here is just that. Do you guys know what it means without significant scaffolding? What does that mean?
Kind of implies that they can make their own jumps. Like you don't necessarily have to spell everything out.
Great. Prior knowledge, right? So whenever you've taught them throughout the semester, you're introducing something new, and you don't have to say, remember when we did in week 1, and bringing out the syllabus every time. That there's some things are sticking. Okay, good. Any other thoughts about this last one? Other perspectives and cultures?
Well, I think just the word perspective in itself is huge in theater. I mean, especially to teach it, to have a student really go in depth in a character and try to figure out what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and try to the best of their ability to go into their shoes and behave in their circumstance is what it's all about.
Yeah. As an audience member too, right? I mean, the big thing that what's your name?
Heidi.
Heidi, thank you, Heidi. The big thing about theater, we do a lot of skills, right? Public speaking, okay? Being able to rehearse means that you have that ability to kind of be on task. But I think one of the big takeaways is empathy, right? Heidi, is that kind of you're going at? The idea of being empathetic. And we know in this world, why I said that all kids are at risk was not to minimize the risk, it's actually to say, holy moly, is a different word, holy moly, we are in a world where bullying is, people are bullying over technology. Like, you think about it, it's so weird. Like, that's, I mean, come on, like, that's weird, right? You think about it? I mean, bullying is at the playground, right? Bullying is in the high school hallways. Bullying is on the athletic field. But, like, you're over there, you're not even in my sight, and I want to bully you. I don't even see you. I mean, how sick is that? But it's happening, and, you know, you guys heard about the Rutgers student? Okay? I live out there now. I used to live in Lower East Side. I live right next to New Brunswick. I've got friends on the faculty at Rutgers. I mean, it's tragic, but this is going on. But when we know that we put young people face to face with another person, and we have to make something called art together, right? So even though, like, I know you never liked me, because I wasn't a cool kid, I'm sorry, but you wouldn't sit with me in lunch, and that's fine. But all of a sudden, I realized, no, that was all in my head. She was just doing her thing. She was busy, right? But now we're making theater together in this random classrooms, in Heidi and Kelly's classroom, they're team teaching, yay! And they're doing the theater work, and all of a sudden we have to work together on Zip Zap Zop machine, I'm just kidding. But like, we're doing a theater scene. By the way, side note, try to learn classroom management without doing this. I'm just kidding, it's pet peeve. Many other ones. But the idea being that all of a sudden, we have a connection, right? I can't bully you. You can't bully me because we actually have made art together, right? That's the transformative power of the field that you're going into. That's what's really cool. So yes, you're going to be teaching theater history. Yes, you're going to be teaching process drama. Yes, you're going to be teaching theory. You're going to be putting on productions and musicals, right? But at the core, you're allowing young people to tell stories that sometimes they don't even have a dinner table to tell at, right? Sometimes you're allowing young people to tell stories they don't even have someone that they feel they can confide in. But I get to go into those empathetic shoes and be someone else. And by doing that, I kind of understand where I'm coming from a little bit better.